Lewis, Friday and a chance to really test those upgrades. How is the car feeling out there?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we're fighting as hard as we can. Yeah, I would say it was a difficult day one, P1 and P2. I think just getting on top of the tires and the deg, and yeah, car feels like the car.
Okay, so not too noticeably a difference then?
I mean, it's so different from last week, of course. So, but we're just focusing. I think the long run pace didn't look terrible, and we just got to work on trying to figure out how we can extract more on the single lap.
And of course we have a revised track here as well with the removal of the final chicane. How is that final few corners feeling?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very fast. I definitely prefer it to the small chicane that we had in the past. It's much more fun. I've not followed anyone through there, so I don't know how that's going to be in the race, but definitely going to make it tough on Deg.
Yeah, tire deg, and physically as well in terms of those forces? No,
it's not a problem.
All good.
I don't think so, but maybe on Sunday we'll see something different.
And qualifying tomorrow, what are your expectations? Where do you think you'll sit in the pecking order based on what you've seen today and perhaps what you can tune up overnight?
Well, I think from the pace that I had today, it's struggled for me currently to get into top 10, but hopefully we'll do some changes overnight, and hopefully I think it's very, very close between us and that like middle kind of after P5 back to kind of P10, so it's really, really close between us all. It's impressive to see how the improvements that everyone seems to have made all around us. If you look at Ocon, Alpines are doing great. You saw the Aston Martin is second, just right behind the Red Bull, which is really, really impressive. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
And the weather, are you keeping one eye on it as well? Because there's rain sort of hovering around and certainly forecast for the weekend.
Yeah, well, weather can always be a helping hand, given that we're not as quick as we'd like to be. But yeah, I'm just going to try and do the best job I can tonight to make the right setup changes. And there's definitely improvements I know I can make with the setup, so I'll get on top of that.
George, the first Friday at somewhat of an original Formula One track in which you can really stretch the car and test these upgrades. So what's the verdict from your side of the garage?
Yeah, I think firstly it was fun to drive around a new version of this Barcelona circuit. I think it's gone from probably one of the worst corners in Formula One to probably one of the best corners in Formula One. So that's really enjoyable. It's only Friday. I think we learned a huge amount, and we'll dig into the data tonight. We know that we're not Friday specialists, and we often take a bit of a step forward on Saturday and Sunday, so it's the right way round for it to be. But we are where we are. I think a lot of people are bringing updates to the car. We weren't expecting to suddenly set the world on fire, and we just need to learn what we can from the info we've got and try and move forward tomorrow.
You were reporting on the radio some bottoming out, some bouncing. Was that due to a bumpy track, or is that ride height of the car? Is that something that can be tuned up?
Yeah, I think it was just pushing the ride height of the car, to be honest. We solved it for the second half of the session just by lifting it a little bit. I mean, it's really bumpy through that final corner, so it's a little bit sketchy through there. Same for everyone, but we'll see what we learn tonight. I think definitely we can find some gains. There's a few surprises out there today, but I'm sure the story will be slightly different tomorrow and again on Sunday. And as we know, we score points on Sunday, so that's what we're targeting.
And that final corner, we're all predicting it's going to be pretty tough, both on tyre deg, certainly front left, and perhaps even the necks as well. What's your thinking on that? And will it also offer opportunities for overtaking, do you think, as well?
I think it will probably help overtaking a little bit, because the old layout, because it's such a slow-speed corner, you can only get so close, and then the guy ahead puts his foot down and disappears. On the neck, it doesn't feel too bad at the moment. I don't know how I'll feel after Sunday, but part of it is because you're so quick through the corner, you're just sort of in and out, and the most tricky corners are those long, sustained corners. But yeah, as I said, maybe I'll feel different on Sunday evening.
Where do you think you're going to sit tomorrow in the pecking order in the fight for pole in qualifying?
Well, I don't think there is a fight for pole with anyone on this grid, so that's the way things are at the moment. I think it's going to be tight. There's a few cars who are definitely fast on Saturday. I think Alpines are looking really strong. So between us, Ferrari and Alpine, it's probably going to be tight. then maybe you've got, Nico was really quick today. I don't know where that came from. So, but we saw that in Miami, I think. Kevin qualified ahead of us, perhaps, but then things changed on Sunday. So I don't expect us to be having an incredible day tomorrow, but I certainly expect us to be having a better Sunday than Saturday. So, yeah, that's what we're gearing up for.
So that's Friday practice over. How does it all feel going into Saturday?
Yeah, reasonable. I think a bit happier now after FP2. Bit of work to do on one lap for myself, but the continuous laps seem to be pretty solid, about where we expect to be. So yeah, decent day. Made some good improvements from P1 to P2, and try and go a bit further tomorrow.
I know you're the first time in a Formula 1 car around this circuit, but given your Formula 2 and previous experience, how do the track layout changes compare?
Yeah, they're nice. I think the last two corners are a lot better than the little chicane that we had before. I think everyone will probably say that. So yeah, it feels nice. The last corner is a real big commitment corner now, which is exciting for us. The high-speed corners are always the most enjoyable. But yeah, I like the track changes.
So that's Friday practice over. How's it all looking going into Saturday?
I think it's been a decent day for us, FP1 especially, although I believe we were out of position in FP1, but I think we hit the ground running fairly well. Although in FP2 I think we didn't quite get everything together. We tried some different things, and I think yeah, hopefully they'll learn or give us a better understanding for tomorrow and put things together when it really counts and matters. But overall it's been a positive day.
First time racing here in Formula 1, but given your Formula 2 experience with the track changes, how does this layout compare?
I mean, let's not take too quickly conclusions. Obviously, the main reason for the change is done for better racing. I'm not sure whether that will provide us better racing, but as I said, let's not take conclusions too quickly. But the left front suffers a lot.
Full day of practice over and done with. How's it all looking going into Saturday?
Tough. It's probably been quite a tough day. Probably one of our trickier Fridays, I would say, in terms of pace and setup. And I think we struggled with a few different things this morning in FP1. Some of which we improved a little bit, and some which I would say I'm still struggling a bit with, just in terms of the handling, just putting it up together. I'm making too many mistakes because of how I feel like I have to drive the car at the minute. So I think the pace can be there-ish. We're probably towards the back end of it, but yeah, tomorrow's a new day.
Lots of changes to the circuit, especially on the last turn. Do you think it's going to have a big change for the race on Sunday?
Find out on the race on Sunday. I've not done any racing necessarily just yet, so I did some following, and like I said before, I think sometimes it feels a bit better. I think it's easier to make a mistake in the final corner. Other times it felt a bit worse. So I don't have an answer just yet. It's something I'll try and figure out tomorrow still.